Hi, welcome to the Balanced Body Podcast. My name is Stacy Sims and I own Pendleton Pilates in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm an educator and an instructor, and I'd like to introduce Heather Sommer, who's also an educator and an instructor in our studio system, as is Rachel Apple. Rachel is 18 weeks pregnant, and I just want to point that out because it's really exciting. And also that, first of all, we're not going to do a lot of exercising here today, but if you are pregnant and you're interested in Pilates, just check with your doctor to make sure your doctor thinks it's a good idea. Alrighty? So today what we're going to do is we're going to take a second to look at spinal alignment. I'm sure if you've ever done worked with an instructional video or worked with an instructor, you probably hear us talk a lot about alignment. But it's sort of hard to imagine alignment when you're working really hard to understand what someone's telling you. So we're going to look at the alignment of the spine. Everybody has different muscular patterns and different spinal alignment. All of that's fine, but they're going to create different challenges for us. So let's just look for a second at two different spines. Both Rachel and Heather are sitting with their legs extended. It's a position we often will incorporate, say, in a Pilates mat class. Well, I'm going to use this dowel rod to help you have a little even better eye for what I'm talking about. Rachel, can you do me a favor and just scooch forward just a hair so we have a little bit more room? Fantastic, thank you. Can you see, I have this stick up against Heather's spine. And can you hold this hair on top of your head for a second? Thank you, great. So basically the stick, the base of the stick is up against her sacrum at the base of her spine. It also connects right at the thoracic spine, basically sort of at the base of the scapula. And it also connects here at the base of the skull. The occiput is the bone it's connecting to. And can you see how Heather's back has these nice natural curves, a little curve in the cervical spine, and a little curve in the lumbar spine. So, and this is the alignment that we like to see. It's the least amount of tension, weight bearing on the vertebrae in the lumbar spine and the cervical spine, which is where, as you know, we get most of our injuries. So let's now look at Rachel, her back. And can you scooch a little teeny forward, Heather? Great, thank you. So Rachel is, in addition to the fact of being 18 weeks pregnant, which starts to change how the body is organized a bit, she's also a runner, and just her natural body type means that her hamstrings are tight. And I know a lot of people have tight hamstrings. So can you see how, because her hamstrings on the back of the leg are tight, it's basically pulling her pelvis under, so that when I put my stick along her back, what's happening is the lumbar spine is pushing against the stick. We've lost this nice natural curve in the lumbar spine. And so basically we can't get her sacrum against the stick. We're not really having a good connection here. And what's happening too is we're having an exaggerated curve in the cervical spine. We're just throwing the alignment off. So because this is such a common thing, we have come up with a really easy solution to fix it. All Rachel has to do, or all you have to do, is bend your knees. So if she bends her knees and puts them on the box, do you see how it's just changed the alignment of her spine? Now she's actually able to connect with the sacrum. She's got a little more space in this back, right? And she's reduced the relative curve in the cervical spine. She could also go ahead and scoot yourself forward. If you're in a reformer practice, you might, there's certain exercises where if you choose to sit up on the box and you basically release the hamstring by bending the knee and creating a 90-degree angle of the legs, this gives her an even better position on the spine. Alrighty, so we are done with you, my dear. Thank you very much. In Pilates, the most challenging work is the work that we do upright, where we don't have as much information against our spine to tell us where we are in space and time. That's why a lot of the work we do is lying down on the mat. So we're going to put Heather back down onto her back. Just going to roll down. Great. And I just want to take a moment to help orient your eye to how her spine maintains the safest position for the vertebrae and in the back. So if you go ahead and cross your arms over your chest, so basically we're going to, remember how I had the dowel rod at the back? Now she's lying down and basically the floor is creating the same support as the dowel rod. So can you see that basically her tailbone is anchored down, so she has a little rise in the lumbar spine. Her thoracic spine is connecting. The occiput, the bone right at the base of the skull, is connecting, so she's got this nice neutral curve in the cervical spine. So this is the ideal position of the spine, which is not that difficult if you're not moving. What gets really challenging is if you start moving your limbs, especially away from the center line of the body, either the legs or the arms moving. What tends to happen then is you get a lot of movement of the spine. So when she moves her arms back, she's just created a completely different spinal alignment by lifting the thoracic area. If she goes ahead and lowers her hands, and I'm going to help support her legs, what tends to happen is when we're in a tabletop position, this is probably the easiest way to support a stable spine. But as the legs start to drop away, and I'm supporting her legs so we can do this without injury to Heather, the most common position is, go ahead and let those legs go heavy, is that there ends up being a big arch in the back. So what your Pilates is attempting to do when your Pilates practice is really engaging the low abdominal muscles so the back doesn't change. Can you lift your hands again up to the chest so we can see your back? Terrific, great. So I'm trying not to move her legs enough. I'm trying to keep them in a straight line with her body. But what's going to happen here is ideally, I want you to keep a stable pelvis now. Bend the knees and extend the legs. Do you see how her pelvis isn't changing position at all? And I would suggest that stability is the most important principle. So work to stabilize in the pelvis and then work on your mobility second. That will certainly come over time. Let's just look at the upper body for a second. Go ahead and lower the hands to the side. Terrific. Again, the same thing that happens is often as she takes the arms back, we get a lift here in the thoracic spine. So if she gathers her ribs and really uses those abdominals, what might happen is she might not get as much range of motion with the arms, but she's going to have better alignment in her spine. She's going to come back down. So again, think of stability first, mobility second. You're going to quickly develop the strength to be able to take the limbs away from the body safely and effectively. Thanks. Hope you come visit us soon.